Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a new subject, that is social science, SS. You might have studied this subject in standard 9th. The same has been repeated in standard 10th, but with a different version, an upgraded version. Before we begin with this subject, I would request the students just to focus on the textbook rather than the other materials. As this subject is quite lengthy, again I request the students to only refer to the textbook. If you go for other materials, you will put yourself into the problem. So I request the students to refer the textbook from the first till the end. Right? Social science. There are 21 chapters in this subject. I have divided into 5 parts. 21 chapters I have divided into 5 parts. So when you start to learn social science, it would be easy for you how to learn social science. Right? Part number 1, that is chapter 1 to chapter number 7. That is all related to history and heritage. From chapter number 1 to chapter number 7. Chapter number 8 to chapter number 12. It is all the different types of resources. For example, natural resources, for example, water resources, etc. So you will learn all the different types of resources from chapter number 8 to chapter number 12. Number 3, that is chapter 13 and 14. It is all about manufacturing industries and all about the transportation. How does the transportation takes place? How does the manufacturing process is being done? That is all that you are going to learn in chapter number 13 and 14. Next, point number 4, that is chapter number 15 to chapter number 18. In this chapter, you are going to learn about the economic development. How the economic development is being done. What are the criteria that are being used by the government? What are the problems that India is facing in terms of economic development? What are the challenges? What are the different types of economic liberalizations given by the government? What are the different kinds of economic globalization truly accepted throughout the world? You are going to learn all these things in chapter number 15 to chapter number 18. And the last, that is chapter number 19 to chapter number 21. It is all about human development. How we develop ourselves. That is what we are going to learn in the last 3 chapters. As you grow old and old, the maturity level rises. Same happens with the country. We are developing ourselves. So while we develop, what are the problems, what are the challenges, what are the social changes that are taking place? All these things that you are going to learn in the last topic, that is chapter 19 to chapter number 21. That is all about human development. So I request the students, try to understand the topic like this way. So rather than mugging it up, right? Try to divide the topic as I have made and then try to learn social science. Right? Today we are going to discuss the last chapter, chapter number 21, that is social change. Why I am discussing the last chapter? Because in board exams, the questions that are being asked of 4 marks are coming from chapter number 21, or we can say are coming from chapter 19 to 21. There are max 1 or 2 questions of 4 marks that are coming from the last concept, that is from chapter 19 to 21. And they are quite lengthy also. So rather than going for the history and the other parts, we will begin with the last chapter today. That is chapter number 21, social change. Right? Before we go into the chapter, what is a social change? Social change means a change that we can only feel, we cannot see. Right? As the time passes, the standard of living of the people changes. And we can feel that thing after certain point of years. That is known as a social change. A kind of human development. Slowly but steadily, it changes its lifestyle. Is known as a social change. Now, what is in this chapter that we are going to learn? That is chapter number 21. Social change. Page number 177. The change that occurs in social structure and social institution is known as a social change. The way that we live, the way that we think, the way that we act towards the society, the way that we talk towards our family members, with our friends, with our relatives, has been changing year by year. I'll give you one simple example so you will understand what is a social change. Before 20-30 years back, we used to write letters. We used to write letters. Does anyone write letters today? No. We are socially changed in the terms of technology. We all have mobile phones. We just text it and within few seconds it reaches to the corner of the world, and we all have accepted this thing. We cannot deny a social change. We have to go with the flow. No one uses letters in today's era. We don't have time. And the change that has been there, we all have readily accepted it. That is known as a social change. Right? Next. Along with its changes occurring in composition of society and its function is also known as a social change. The standard of living in the society, marriages, education system, everything is changing. That is also known as a social change. Right? The definition has been given on page number 177. One more thing. Wherever I'll feel important, I'll request the students to make a note or to underline that statement. So at the time of exam, you can read that concept, and that concepts can be asked in 1 mark, 2 mark, or even in true or false, or even in fill in the blanks. Right? So wherever I'll feel that this point is important, you have to mark that statement. Next. Social changes have been seen in social relations, family arrangements, marriage arrangements, in culture, in lifestyle of people, literature, art, music. Yes, one of the best example is music. The music that we used to hear before 20-30 years back and the music that we hear today is totally different. That is also a part of social change. Right? Because of the westernization, globalization and urbanization. What is westernization? We are following the culture of the western countries. Globalization. The whole world is at the global level. Whatever you want, you get it on your fingertip. You get it on your fingertip with the help of technology. That is also social change. Liberalization. Wherever you want, you can go. You can go to different countries of the world. You can get the knowledge from there. You will learn something from there and try to implement in your own life. That is also a social change. Vice versa. When you are going to some other countries and when you show your culture, when you show your character, even they will try to learn that in that country. So that is also a part of social change. This way, human interacts with each other, talks with each other, shares their ideas, views, technologies, and the life keeps on changing. Life keeps on moving. That is known as social change. Right? Next. Due to which people have become acquainted with each other's culture, physical object, means of luxury, use of modern implements, facilities used in routine life have reached up to rural areas. Also. Even the people in the villages are now accepting with the changes that are going in technology. Even they are aware of all the social apps. Even they are aware of the online banking facilities. Even they are aware of how to use internet, how to use computers. Right? You have to accept it. Whether you belong to an urban place or whether you belong to a rural place, you have to accept all these changes. Right? Next. Changes have taken place in the styles of house, of people, in its building and construction. As a result, physical changes in the society, living standard of people has improved. Effect of Western culture is evident in the lifestyle. Everyone wants to be, everyone wants to live a luxurious life. Whatever they want it at the finger of the tip. Right? Just imagine the changes that are taking place in the society, the houses that are being constructed, and the houses that were constructed before 20-30 years back. drastic change, right? The buildings that are being made, all these things, facilities, the hospitals that keep changing its own face, right? That is a part of social change. And if we live in a society, today not tomorrow, we have to accept that change if we want to survive. If we want to survive, right? Or else we would be standing alone from the society. So we have to accept the social change as per the era or as per the time that it flows. Maybe in terms of technology, maybe in terms of education. Education is one of the best example that you are learning today. Have you ever thought that you will be learning from a YouTube? No. But as the situation changes, the criteria changes, you have to accept it and you have to learn it. You cannot deny it. Neither we can. Right? This is all a part of social change. If we want to survive, me and you both, we have to accept all these things. Next, new topic, that is awareness about law and its need. There are certain laws and there are certain needs, but we should be aware. Look into the textbook what has been written. Because of the low literacy rate, lack of knowledge and understanding, people lack information about day-to-day laws in our country. As the people do not have the knowledge about law, they violate the law, but they are not forgiven for punishment or conviction. So it has become necessary to give basic understanding and information to every citizen. So that is again the duty of government, and it is the duty of ourselves as a civilian. If someone doesn't know anything, we should help them. We should help them. If someone are in need, government cannot be everywhere. Government cannot contact individually to say the laws. We are educated, we know how the system flows, and if someone doesn't know or if someone is in need, we should help them. That is known as an awareness. That is known as an awareness. As you help your friends in the class, and just to help them, they will become clear with the concept, oh, this goes like this. In social change also, everyone doesn't know everything, right? We all keep on learning. You and me, we both keep on learning. And if I don't know something, someone helps me, so I am in need, so that is known as an awareness. If some other don't know, and if I know something, so I will share my information, my knowledge to someone else. So that would be helpful. That is awareness. That is the need that we want. And what happens gradually, do you know? If we all help each other in terms of their needs, it would lead to the economic development of the nation. It would lead to the economic development of the nation. Try to understand this line. If we all help each other, that would lead to the economic development of the nation. That is a true social change. That is what we have to learn in our own life. Right? Next. Why it is necessary to have general knowledge about the laws? New topic. Why it is necessary to learn about the general knowledge, to learn about the laws? Why it is necessary? Look at point number 1. People are saved from doing crime and thus saved from the punishment, conviction, etc. if they have general knowledge and education regarding the law. As simple as that. If people are not aware about the laws, they are going to create crimes. They are going to create such kind of things which are against the law. They are not actually creating a crime, but they are not aware of the law. They are not aware of the law. The best example is child labor. The best example is child labor. A child who is 12, 13 years old is working on a tea stall. He doesn't know the laws. He is being paid 300, 400, 500 rupees for the full day that he works for 8 to 10 hours, and he is being exploited. He is being exploited. He is not actually being exploited, but he is not aware about the law. So that is what is more needed, to share or to aware the other people about the laws, or else it would lead to a criminal state. That is why the need of law or sharing the information of law is very much important. Point number 2. They can get guidance regarding exploitation and legal steps which could be taken against injustice. Guidance is one of the most important thing. If you help someone, they'll become aware, oh, this is correct, this is incorrect, this is right, this is wrong. So guiding helps them to decide what is right and what is wrong. Point number 3. They can enjoy constitutional rights, protect individual interest, and may flourish himself. Constitutional rights. What are the constitutional rights that we have got as an individual, for the people, of the people, and by the people? So if they are not clear what rights do they have, right, how they are going to live their life, how they are going to survive, it is very difficult for them. So if they are aware of all the laws, right, they can live freely. They don't have to live their life under someone else's pressure. They can, fight for their freedom, fight for their justice. Why? Because they are aware of the laws. And when we share all this information, what laws that the government has made, when we share, when we create awareness, that becomes a social change. That becomes a social change. Next, point number 4. They can become informed about various legal provisions that have been made for their protection and flourishment. That is what I have said. For their own individual interests, they can protect themselves. If something is going on, if something wrong is going on, they can protect themselves because they are aware of the laws. I am not going to do this or I am not going to do that. No one can pressurize you if you are aware of the laws. But all these things can only happen if you are educated. If you are educated, if you are aware of the laws, what are the laws and how does it work? Right? This is what we have to implement. This is what we have to implement and share with other people living in the society, living in the nearby areas. Sharing social awareness that brings a social change. Right? Next, point number 5. His loyalty towards society, state, and nation increases. 5th point is a very important point, right? Loyalty towards the society. Being truthful, whatever you are standing in a society, you are living in a society, right? So there is one kind of credit that you have, one image that you have in your society. You have to maintain that image. If you are not aware of the changes that are being taking place, as previously I told, you will be standing in the corner. Social change is a very important thing. Might be in the society, towards the state. Towards the state. If people are not paying the taxes, we need to aware them that the tax that you pay goes to the government. And what does the government do? They develop the state or the nation. It is going to come back to us only in the terms of development. In the terms of development, everyone wants to get the benefits from the government, but nobody wants to pay the tax. How can this be possible? Why India is a developing country? Because of this reason, people are not paying the taxes. And when you don't pay the tax, government doesn't get the money. So how will they develop hospitals? How will they develop highways? How will they develop gardens in different societies and all the benefits? You're not going to get it because you don't pay the tax. Might be at the state level or might be at the central level. That doesn't matter, but we have to pay. And if we are aware, we have to even share the information to the other people who are not aware of these things or who are not paying the taxes. And when we all pay the taxes, it is a benefit to the society. It is a benefit to the society, right? Social change is a very broad concept. This is just a small chapter that you are learning as a part of standard 10th. But as you will grow, as your maturity level rises, you will understand what social change is, right? As I previously said, you can only feel what is a social change. You cannot see it. You can only feel it, right? Next, point number 6. So that he may contribute in the formation of society, he is not deprived of his right as a citizen and is able to perform his duties. If you are well aware of the laws, right? If you are well aware of the laws or the social changes that are taking place At least, you will be able to perform your duties well. If you are not aware, then you are being exploited. As I previously said, the example of a child who is working at a tea stall, he doesn't know what laws are, what is a child labor, what that is a crime, yes or no, and he is being exploited. But if he is being aware of all the rules and regulations, then he can face the other particular people that this is wrong, this is wrong. Right? We have to share all the information in terms of laws to the other people who doesn't know. Then only a social change can happen. Right? And the next point, that is the last point, number 7. If everybody has proper knowledge of the laws, see, try to understand whatever I have said, that is in point number 7. If everybody has proper knowledge of laws that can lead a life of esteem and pride, thus it is essential to have knowledge and understanding of the law. Knowledge and understanding of the law. If I have the knowledge, right, there's a difference between understanding and knowledge, right? To make someone understand is a much more difficult task. I know, for example, I have the knowledge of this subject, but if I'm not able to make you understand, then it is wrong. Right? Same way, it is all about a social change. If I have the knowledge about the rules and regulations that are being framed in the Constitution of India or that are being framed at the state level by the government, the way that I make understand to the people, that should be correct. The information that I have, the knowledge that I have should be given to the person whom he or she can understand properly. That is how we have to make them understand. Everyone is not educated, everyone is not of our age. There might be small children, there might be senior citizens, there might be people of our age, and there might be people who are totally illiterate. How will you make them understand? We have to make them understand in different ways. That understanding should be in us. And when does that understanding occurs? When we are educated. Right? So these are the important 7 points. That is why it is necessary to have general knowledge about the law. So as you will grow on the next classes, you will learn more and more about the laws or the changes that are taking place. But at this level, you should know what is right and what is wrong. And if someone is doing wrong, you should stop them and make them understand. You should not do like this, it goes like this. If someone is in need, you should help them. This is the correct method, or this is the correct way that it should be done. Today it is them, tomorrow it might be you. Tomorrow you don't know something, so someone else is going to be there and they'll help you. And when you help each other, you both are developing. That is a true social change. I hope the 7 points are clear. Right? Moving towards the next topic, that is rights of citizens. We are Indian citizens. So there are certain rights that are being given. What are the rights as a citizens? Please look into the textbook. That is the last topic on page number 177. None of the common man can make his progress in his best way in the present social conditions. Rights are the indiscernible feature of a citizenship. In its character of rights, United Nations have enshrined human rights to all the human beings without any discrimination. We all have equal rights as humans, whether you are a boy or a girl, male or a female. We all have equal rights, and whether you are a black or white. Right? In some countries this concept was there. That is what you are going to learn in English in chapter number 2, that is Nelson Mandela. As the time goes, I will even explain what it is. Alright? But there were certain things happening in South Africa, a discrimination that was going on between black and whites. But as a citizens of India, we don't have this kind of things. Everyone is given equal right and equal freedom, right? So that is a right as a citizen of a country, whichever country you may belong. We are Indians, so we have the rights as a citizen of Indians. It has stated that all the nation of the world should try that all the citizens of the nations get the rights simply and easily, right? Indian Constitution has given 6 fundamental rights. Please make a note. Indian Constitution has given 6 fundamental rights to all the citizens without any discrimination. Without any discrimination, about which we have studied in standard 9th. We have already studied in standard 9th. We will revise it here. Following are the fundamental rights of the citizen. Look at point number 1, that is on next page, page number 178. Rights to equality. Point number 2, right to freedom. Point number 3, right against exploitation. Point number 4, right to religious freedom. Point number 5, cultural and educational right. And point number 6, right to constitutional remedies. Right? These are the 6 fundamental rights, or you can say the basic rights of a citizen. Right? I'll briefly explain all these 6 points. Point number 1, right to equality. We all are equal. No one can discriminate us on the basis of height, physical body, or the color of the skin. We are treated equally. What may be our height, what may be our body, what may be our skin of color of the skin, that doesn't matter. As we are Indian citizens, we have the right of equality. Right? Number 2, right to freedom. Second most important point, that is right to freedom. You are free to think. You are free to think. That is one of the most important right that you are being given as an individual. When you think, you are free. In South Africa, right, it was not like that. Again, I am repeating that we are going to learn in English, that is chapter number 2, Nelson Mandela. The black people were not even given the freedom to think. When they think, they were being punished. Right? That was the condition, and Nelson Mandela fought it. It was the freedom fight that he, fought at that point of time. You can imagine how, miserable the life would be if you are not given any kind of freedom. Imagine yourself. Right? You are in 10th standard, you are learning, you have your own separate room, you have your own, study materials, you get all the benefits. That is a freedom. But if someone takes your freedom, then can you study properly? No. The basic requirements that you need, that is thinking power, sharing the information, sharing your views, that is freedom. That is freedom. That is point number 2, right to freedom. Point number 3, right against exploitation. If someone is being exploited, you need to stop them. That is known as right against exploitation. If someone is being exploited, as I have said previously, a child that is being working in a tea stall, who works for 8 to 10 hours and hardly being paid 200 and 300 rupees per day, that is a pure exploitation given to a child. And if you are aware of the laws, you should stop that exploitation. That is your fundamental right. Right? So that is right against exploitation. Point number 4, right to religious freedom. Religious freedom, one of the most important concepts, that is religious. We all have different caste. We all are from different culture. We all have different thinking sense. How all these things have developed? On the basis of the caste that we have. Some might be Hindus, some might be Muslims, some might be Christians, some might be Parsis, some might be Jains, some might be Buddhist. They will think as their culture flows in their blood. India is a great country that has given us the right to religious freedom. No one can, force you to change your own caste, to change your own culture. That is one of the best thing that our country has. That it is a pure freedom in terms of religion. No one can force you to, to change your caste, to change your culture. We are very lucky to be Indians, right? So that is point number 4, that is right to religious freedom. You can follow your own cultural views, you can follow your own traditional values, you can follow your own caste system that has been there. No one can stop you. That is known as right to religious freedom. Point number 5, cultural and educational right. Everyone has got a cultural right. Cultural, what is culture? Culture means a system that has been developed by your forefathers, a system that has been developed from your caste, that what you have learned when you were small till today, that becomes a part of culture. Cultural and educational right. Second point, educational right. No one can stop you from getting or from getting educated. It is your right. Governments are giving certain point of amount of money to the people who are extremely poor, and even they support all those children who actually wants to study. Government takes them on their shoulders. They get admitted to some government schools and make them study. Why to make them study? So they'll have the information. They will be aware about the knowledge. They will be aware how to live in a society. In India, it is a complete freedom to get education. Right? Next, that is point number 6. Right to constitutional remedies. Constitutional, a constitution, the laws that are being made, right? If you are aware, you can use all the constitution laws as a remedies. You can say them, this is our law, this is our system, this is how it works. The way that you do is incorrect, is not correct. This is how you have to work, right? This is known as right to constitutional remedies. If any of the state or nation violates these rights, then in order to protect his constitutional right, citizen has the right to seek justice from High Court or Supreme Court. Citizens have got this right under the provision in the right to constitutional remedies. You can even file a case if something wrong is going on with you or with your family. As Surendranagar is a district, you can file a case at the district court. If you are not still being satisfied, you can go at the session court. If you are still being not satisfied with the judgment, you can even claim it to the High Court. And if you are not still satisfied with the result of High Court, you can even still go to the Supreme Court. This is a freedom. This is a freedom that you are being given. If someone is harassing you, if someone is, pressuring you, you can, file a case against them. As per the law, you should be correct. And if you know that you are correct, you have got the freedom to file a case. There are 4 courts, right? District court. Then higher, that is session court. Then again and higher, that is High Court. And then again on the Supreme, that is the Supreme Court. You can file the case 3 to 4 times if you are not satisfied with the result. This is a great freedom as we get as individuals living in a society. So that is also a social change. Everyone is not aware about the laws. Everyone is not clear with the fundamental basic rights. If you are educated and if you know the laws, you must share it who are in need. Then only we can bring a social change. Right? Next. Thus, it is called the soul of Constitution. It is the duty of judiciary to protect the fundamental rights of citizens, and it should provide simple, cheap, speedy and impressive judgment. The judgment should be very clear cut. What is correct as per the law. What is not correct is not correct as per the law. So it will make the people understand more clearly. So they will even understand what actually our laws are. Right? Next. Rights of a child. See, as I have previously given the example of a child that was being exploited in a tea stall. See, what are the special rights of a child? You are also considered as a child, as a teenager. right? As a teenager, you might be 14, 15 or 16 years old, right? So you are considered as a teenager. See, what are the special rights for a child? Let's look into the textbook again. Children are the least protected section in our society. Progress of any nation depends on the overall development of children living in it. Children are the future of societies. See, you can see the current example right now that is going on, right? Why schools and colleges are carried forward on a later on stages? Because you are the future of the society. There are many things that are being opened in the market today, right? Many companies or industries or small shops have started working, but schools and colleges are still closed because you represent the future. You represents the future. You know what is the current criteria going on in today's era, right? This all about this virus. So if the students get placed, there are much more chances of the virus to develop, right? And if you are being infected with this virus, then the future of the society, the development of the future of our nation might be imbalanced. That is why government is not ready to take any risk, especially with schools and colleges. That is why you are being told to stay at home. That is also a part of social change. They think of yourself. Government thinks on behalf of you, because they know that students who are studying in schools, who are studying in colleges are the future of India. You are going to get the degrees, you are going to go in the market, and you are going to develop yourself as well as you are going to develop the nations, right? So if they don't think, and if they give the permission and open everything, then the chances of virus are getting infected would be much more. So they are thinking of you. Why they are thinking of you? Because you are the future of our own nation, right? So these are the rights that you have as a child. Let's look what it is. Progress of any nation on the overall development of children living in it. If the child will be educated, protected and righteous or virtuous, then he will become a good citizen and will contribute in the development of family, society and nation. Will contribute in the development of family, society and nation. This type of citizens will be a boon for the nation, because child is like a property of the nation. This is what I have said. See, the same lines that are being repeated. Child is like a property of the nation. So his upbringing, maintenance, that is child support and development, should be taken care carefully. Should be taken care carefully. Right? That is why government is not ready to open the schools and colleges. They know that you are the future of the nations. Some might be in government sector, some might be in private sector, some might be having their own business. You might be earning good amount of money in the future. You might be holding some good degrees, right? You are developing a nation. You are creating business. They know all these things. That is why they are not ready to take any risk. These are the rights of you. These are the rights of a child, right? You are just like a property, that is, the value is going to increase in future, that is for sure. Because, see, I'm repeating it again, because child is like a property of the nation, so his upbringing, maintenance and development should be taken carefully with responsibility. Please underline that particular statement. Our primary duty is to take care that the child is physically healthy and able, mentally cheerful, and his mental abilities are developed. He becomes a healthy, sensible and responsible citizen by promotion of physical values. What does a child require? A mental and a physical support from the family where he stays, from the schools where he get education, from the relatives or from the society where they live. A child requires all these things, right? He has the same right as we have, as I have. If a child is being kept lonely in a corner, mentally and physically, he won't be able to develop himself or herself. He needs to go out and play with the other child. He needs to go to school and get educated. He needs to go to his relatives. He needs to go to the churches and temples, wherever of which caste he is. He needs to go everywhere. And when he goes outside his home, he learns everything. What is the caste? What is culture? What is education? How to behave? How to talk with someone else? These are the rights of a child. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop them. And if you stop them, it is going to create a mental pressure for them. Right? Let them be free. Let them they do whatever they want, because they are a child. If they are adults, they would know what is right and what is wrong. But as they are a child, let them learn by themselves. And if they learn by themselves, they will develop themselves more betterly, rather than pinpointing them. And if you pinpoint them and if you correct them for their mistakes, they'll never be able to learn. Let them make mistakes and let them learn. That is the right of a child. That is the right of a child. That is what the law says. If a child, being a child, you have certain rights, physically and mentally, to develop yourself. To develop yourself. Our primary duty is to take care, physically healthy and able, mentally cheerful, and his mental abilities are developed. He becomes a healthy, sensible and a responsible citizen by promotion of physical values. The United Nations has proclaimed the rights of children with regard to their development and welfare in its Charter of Rights, that is in 1992. Who have proclaimed all the rights of a children? United Nations. In which year? In 1992. Please underline that statement. These juvenile rights have been given place in our constitution. These rights have also been given place in our Indian constitutions. There are 7 rights. How many rights? There are 7 rights that have been included even in our Indian constitution. Which are the 7 rights? Point number 1. Every child has the right to live without discrimination on the basis of caste, color, language or nationality. That is what I have previously said. Right? We cannot bifurcate people, or we cannot even bifurcate a child on the basis of caste, on the basis of nationality, on the basis of their color, on the basis of their language, etc. Whatever it is. They are humans. It is just that they are from different states or from different countries. That doesn't mean that we'll make fun of them, or we'll bifurcate them, that you don't belong to our state or you don't belong to our country. We should not do like that. As we are humans, even they are humans. Just imagine yourselves putting your shoes in their legs. Right? It is very difficult thing. They are not able to adjust. Why? Because you bifurcate them. Imagine yourself that the same situation happens to you when you go to some other place, or when you go to some other state, or where you go to some other countries for the higher education. If they'll do the same thing with you, then that is not correct. Right? So this is the right that has been included in the Indian constitution, that was being accredited by United Nations in 1992, that you cannot bifurcate any child or anyone, any human, on the basis of caste, color or language. Right? Point number 2. It is the right of the child to get proper upbringing by the parents. It is again the responsibilities of the parents too, to take proper care of their child. Then only it would be able to develop a child properly. Right? Next. A child cannot be separated from the parents without any solid grounds. This is a very important point that is happening in our society. Right? We need to understand this point. I am not explaining detail, but I hope you understand what I try to say from this point. A child should not be separated from parents. A father should not take away a child, or a mother should not take away a child because of their own personal differences. Right? It is the personal differences that creates a physical and a mental, mental issue on that child. That should not be done. Where will the child go? That is a big question mark. I'm not going into detail, right? But this point should be understood. Point number 3. It is a legal right of the child to get education so that he can develop his own personality. Most important point, he needs to be developed. And how will he develop? By getting a proper education. If you have the education, you can develop yourself. You can develop yourself. Next, point number 4. Every child has the right to live healthy life. The child has the right to live life merrily by participating in games and entertainment. Right? Games and entertainment is also a part of a child. That is what he learns in school. Sports activities, cultural activities, dance competition, games, sports, everything. He should play, he should go out and learn. That is also a life of a child. Just coming to the school, sitting in the class, learning from the board, that is not the life. You need to go outside. Some might be good at drawing, some might be good in cultural activities, some might be good in sports activities. Develop yourself. This is the time you have to develop yourself. Education is always going to be there with you. That is a knowledge. But the extra things that you learn when you come to school, that is also a right of a child. That is also a right of a child. Right? That is point number 4. Point number 5. Every child has the right to conserve his culture and live amongst his religious community. Right? Religion is also one of the most important factor. Right? You need to be respected in your own caste, in your own community. That is also a very important factor. If a child is not being respected in his or own caste or in his or own community, then again it is going to be a problem. So again it is an important factor. That is our own caste and religion, our own community. We should respect each other. But if we don't respect each other, then it is going to create a problem for the child in our own caste and community. Right? Next, point number 6. Every child has the right to protect himself against any physical or mental torture, use of narcotics, drugs, inhuman purity, protection from punishment or fine. Every child has the right to protect himself. If something wrong is going on, it is the duty of a child to talk with their parents. Something wrong that goes with you, might be in the society, might be in the surroundings, might be anywhere. You need to talk with your parents. You need to talk with your closed ones. You have the right to talk and share information what is going on wherever you find something wrong. Right? So that is again a right of a child. Right? A kind of physical torture, a kind of mental torture, all these things cannot be done with a child. Why? Because it remains in him or her forever. They cannot take out all those things. So it is the duty, if something wrong is going on, report it to your seniors, report it to the teachers, report it to the management, or talk with your parents, whomsoever you feel close with them. That is again a right of a child. And last, that is point number 7. Every child has the right to obtain security and proper standard of living for its physical, mental, moral and social development. Right to obtain security and proper standard of living should be given to a child. There are certain basic requirements that a child need that should be given to improve his standard of living physically and mentally, so that he can develop himself or herself. These are the 7 points that has been included in the Indian Constitution as they are being erected or being developed by United Nations. In which year? In year 1992. Right? This is all about a social change. This is what we have to learn. This is what we have to understand. This is how we have to act when we are talking about social change. Right? Sharing information, sharing the rules, sharing the laws, whatever you know. If something wrong is going on, report it everywhere, wherever you feel secure. If you don't do this, you are not making a social change. It goes to a negative level. Right? So if you really want to bring a kind of a development, might be towards a child, might be towards state, might be towards a nation, you need to be aware of the laws that are prevailing in our Indian Constitution. and we should share all the information and laws with each other so that everyone will be protected. This is known as a true social change. I hope the concept of social change and few topics that we did today is clear. There are few more topics remaining that we are going to discuss in the next lecture. Right? Again I say, refer the textbook rather than referring to other materials. You will be in problem at the end. Rather than that, read the chapter twice and thrice. And if you read it 2-3 times, obviously your doubts will be clear. Obviously all the answers you will be getting from the textbook itself. Right? So again I request to refer the textbook, and please make a note of all these things so that it would be easy for you to understand the chapters. I'm repeating it again: chapter 1 to 7, that is all related to history; chapter 8 to 12, that is different types of resources; 13 and 14, that is transportation and manufacturing; 15 to 18, that is all about economic development, challenges and the problems, and how does the outcome that happens, that is all about liberalization and globalization; and the last, that is 19 to 21, what are the social changes, what is human development, what are the problems, and how social change can create a better life for the humans. Right? Please make a note of it. Thank you.